only music matters.
Wanna know.
It's Trev Go! Talk to Trev on Super Radio. m.mixcloud.com. Talk to Trev.
Together we're the terror on the streets. Together we're united and we're clean. Forever the redeeming one.
How's it going, man? Good, yourself?
Fucking sweet, man. Jessy fucking Switchblade.
Yeah, my nighttime name.
What other names do you go by? That's what I want to know.
Sorry?
What other names do you go by? That's what I want to know.
Oh, bro, you know what? I have so many, so many. Yeah, I think for band purposes, we'll leave it at Jessy Switchblade,
Right, man. Carlos, thanks for taking the time to chat to me, man. It's awesome to finally speak to you because I've spoken to one other member, Raven Chaos, before he left, and now I get to speak to you. So
That's true, yeah.
So now we can talk.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, man. We can now talk about Abigail's Crypt. So basically, this is Deadline Mark IV, right? This is like a rebirth. So how did all of this come about?
So look, we obviously Raven was due to immigrate years ago. You know what? This light is a bit hectic. Sorry about that.
That's cool, man.
I just need to, you know what? Hold on. Maybe if I can do this over here. Is that better?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. That works, and that light will come on now. So yeah, Raven was always due to depart for quite some time. Then he left. We got Judgmental in sort of, when was it? August 2018. We then decided to stay as a six-piece. Then eventually Raven was supposed to have immigrated just before lockdown. And unfortunately that didn't happen. Obviously went into lockdown. They eventually left in September. They left in September. We still played one final gig with him. Then we played a Halloween gig. And straight after that, Baz left. I think, look, his dad had passed away and he was having some personal issues, etc. And I think he was like, look, I'm going to hang up my bass guitar and let someone else take over. So we immediately drafted Damien in. We've known him obviously from the circuit, and him and I have always spoken about being in projects together and stuff like that. And then we thought, look, the only way that, I think at the time we were in lockdown and we didn't know what was going to happen. And we're like, look, we don't know if we're going to get to play again anytime soon. So let's get some material out. And that's where we can introduce Damien to the world. I think a big mistake we made with between albums 1 and 2 is that it took us very long, in between the releases. And I suppose being an amateur band like us, work, family life, all that stuff comes first. So we just saw this as a golden opportunity. We didn't have originals that we were ready to record, but we saw this as a golden opportunity then to release like a B-sides and rarities kind of thing.
Right. I mean, yeah, you say, I like it when you say, what is it, a part-time band, or what did you say? What did you call yourselves?
Amateur.
Amateur. You don't sound anything. There's nothing amateur about fucking Deadline, because one of the things I noted, and I did do a review of Cathedral Point and on my YouTube, and I was like, there was a massive switch up between your vocal ability between the first one and Cathedral Point. What did you do? And even now, because I've got Abigail's Crypt and I've listened to it, and I was like, even now, it's like you just seem to be progressing, like stepping up. What's going on? What the fuck are you drinking, man?
Right. Not drinking, actually.
Not drinking.
The longer I stay in a band, the less I drink. H2O, bro. No, you know what? You kind of get forced to look. You kind of get forced to go look for it, because I'm not a heavy metal singer. When I was a kid, I was in grunge bands. I was a big Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains fan. Lithium down in the Cape, I was obsessed with them. I think your book played for them.
Yep, that's right. Yep. And
that's all I ever wanted, was to be in a grunge band, And my first band was also named after Nirvana's song. It was called Dive. So I was a grunge singer. And then from there, I became a thrash metal singer. But I was never a thoroughbred heavy metal singer. So I suppose just with experience now, with every gig we've played, I always say every gig is like 10 band practices. You learn to find new things with your voice, and obviously, you check some stuff on YouTube, whatever. So I've never gone for lessons, but I've just tried to kind of improve my singing, and I must say it worked out. Like, also the thing with Black Hole City, what nobody knows is when we recorded Black Hole City, I kept getting sick. And eventually we had held on for so long that we couldn't afford to. So I recorded 3 or 4 of the Black Hole City songs, pretty sick. Like my voice was shot. White Death. If you listen to White Death, we had to double up my screams. I actually had to do like these lower end screams. Like on stage, I do that much higher.
Right.
But so I suppose with Cathedral Point, then yeah, it's came in. It all just worked out. There's 1 or 2 songs that I battled with, but yeah, you just, I suppose, with experience, man, it's just push it, I suppose. You start figuring out what you can and can't do.
Is it? I mean, obviously, there's a limit to what your vocals can do, but is there like practice and warm ups things that you do to maintain?
Yeah, of course. Look, I do a whole bunch of scales and different like me,
and he says he's fucking amateur. My ass, bro.
Tongue trills and rolls. No, you know what? We're like, it's the minute we're not getting paid a lot of money, we're not professional. We're amateur. We're paying for this band. But I know it's important. The thing is, I'm asthmatic, so the minute we play live venues, the smoke kills me. So I've got to be super prepped. And I noticed that sometimes if I get to a gig, get there, play, and leave without warming up, like it's inevitably always a fucker.
Wow.
Jeez.
Where does the energy come from, bro? Because it just seems like it's. I remember when Lithium went up to Joburg and they played, and you guys were on the same bill.
Yeah.
My brother came back and he goes, "You got to listen to Deadline, bro." He said, "You'll fucking love them, old school heavy metal." And he said you guys were just like so energetic. Was that a pre-thought thing to be fucking outlandish on stage, or was it just part of the?
It goes with my character, man. Like before Deadline, I was in a Metallica tribute act called Gunship. And we used to break it on stage. Like we brought it, like, you know, the energy. And when I joined Deadline, it was kind of like I was doing it like it was like a side project. I was helping Raven and Baz co-write, etc. And then unfortunately with Gunship, my ego is always bigger than everything else. So we were always clashing. So eventually I walked out for like the 100th time. And I told the guys in Deadline, look, if we're gonna play, we've got to leave everything on stage. And the main reason behind that was we played 1 or 2 shows where like I was the only guy that had the energy, and it really looked a little bit like Jessy and the Deadlines. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the problem is that, I mean, the scene at the moment is so it's just made up of core band, metalcore, deathcore, death metal, and so when we came to play, we had to up our game. Like, because if we were going to play, just at the time when we started, we were playing flat out hard rock. You know, people were calling us dad rock. So we had to bring it. So, you know, the thing was like, I pushed the guys to, you know, we got the stage outfits, we got the stage names, and I was like, you know what, this is a brand, we're representing Deadline, we're going on stage, and we gotta be overly aggressive, but in a loving way, lots of passion, lots of energy, lots of power, because you got to make all those kids there that listen to Parkway Drive and Slipknot and As I Lay Dying want to listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, there's people in the scene that don't know anything about Dio, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, you know, so, and that's what we're doing basically, you know, so, I mean, we got people that come to watch our show that don't even know any of our songs. They'll say we're one of their favorite bands, but they don't even know any of our songs because they love the energy. You know?
How the fuck does fucking internet? Don't get me started on the fucking internet.
No, they love the energy. It's like, and I'm quite happy with that, you know, as long as I got people watching, you know, we set our watches like, our Garmin watches and whatever to see how many steps we.
What on average? On average, how many steps do you do on jumps?
Sure. Listen, it's like it gets wild. Though. Sometimes 2,500. Yeah. Sometimes I burn like 500-600 calories. Calories.
I mean, you go to gym and you do all that shit as well.
Yeah, I'm a very sporty guy. I box. I go to gym. I play tennis. I run, you know, so I mean, for me, it's natural. You know, I can't get up and I've got ADHD, man. I can't get up on stage and just grab the mic and just stand there and sing.
A poro with ADHD. It's like one hell of a combination.
No, it's bad news. It's bad news. I've been living this for 42 years.
I don't know, dude. I don't call that bad news. I just call that one hell of a whirlwind, man. That's fucking awesome.
No, it is.
How difficult or how easy is it to get new members in and to because you've obviously seen them come and go a couple of times now. So how difficult is it every time that this sort of happens? So
look, we've never advertised. So I'm very specific and very meticulous about what I'm looking for. So I mean, when I joined Deadline, it was just Raven's band really, but I sort of, with my sort of bombastic character, kind of took over. and I became the yeah, I always call him the dad, and I'm the leader, you know. So the minute, like for example, when he said he was going to immigrate, I immediately picked up the phone and phoned Warwick, aka Judgmental, and I was like, he'd been with us in Gunship, he had been fired behind my back, he was an excellent soloist. I knew that he had a whole repertoire of songs, and the thing is, for me, most importantly, is they've got to sort of fit within our culture. You know, we're obviously older guys. We love our gym. We don't smoke weed. And I find a lot of times I struggle to be in bands because I start smoking weed. I don't want to get to band practice. You know, we're like in our late 30s, early 40s. So Judge, he just fitted in quite nice. And the same with Damien. You know, when Baz left, and this sounds so bad, but the minute I got the message, before I even sent him a message saying, "Are you sure about this?" I'd already messaged Damien, and I was like, "Something might be coming up. I want you in this band." You know, so
yeah.
No, and I mean,
cool.
If another member leaves, touch wood. I mean, we're good at losing members at the moment, but if another member leaves, I'll have his replacement lined up.
So Abigail's Crypt is coming out on the 23rd, right? This Friday. This podcast is going to be aired on Friday. So this is part 3 of the Black Wolf City sort of trilogy. So
yeah.
So what can we expect from the album when it is ready?
So this is kind of like a stopgap. So it's kind of like, I mean, if we were in court now and we were lawyers, this would be called like interlocutory proceedings. I've got a law degree, by the way. So it's kind of just deviated from the story. So in Cathedral Point, if you have the original in the inlay, it actually tells the story. And Cathedral Point was where Black Wolf City started. So Black Wolf City is a fictitious city called San Lombardo that we've constructed. And there was a girl that was raped and murdered in Cathedral Point called Abigail Calloway. So we decided to take that and sort of have her ghost kind of protect Cathedral Point. So the idea was to welcome the people into Abigail's Crypt, and she was going to sort of play everyone her favorite tracks,
right?
Because I mean, mostly covers and reworked tunes. So, and it was nice because, like I said, we released album 1 on the 14th of October 2017, and then we released album 2 on the 26th of July 2020. So that's 3 years almost, you know. So, and there was no music in between, just gigs and whatever. So I thought, you know what? Let's release something, not only to introduce Damien. I mean, Damien is so talented. Like, we needed to get him, like, in our recordings ASAP. But not only to do that, but to just add more content. And also the thing is, do you know how many times I've seen people fighting on Facebook that we have got a better cover of Rebel Yell than like Drowning Pool or whatever it is, you know, or that no one does a better cover of Holy Diver than Deadline. And then when people say, where can I find a link to that? I'm like, nowhere. So I was like, shit, man, let's just do it, man. Let's record some stuff. And then we decided to rework 2 originals. And we thought we'd be very bold in doing an acoustic sort of Prime Circle Cutting Jade version. And then a synthwave, darkwave remix of a tune. I was like, you know what? Whilst we down this road, you know, let's go deep into it.
Yeah, you know, that's the funny thing is, I mean, I've got all my notes here, and talking about one of the questions, why covers? For starters, obviously you've answered that, but also the acoustic rendition of Break the Silence, and obviously the synth version of High Tops and Bullet Belts is so incredibly different, and it's a real. I was like, Rebel Yell. I was like, yeah, okay, Billy Idol, you know, the sneer from the 80s. Yeah, I love Billy Idol. Yeah. Okay, right. Okay.
We did like a glam rock version of that.
Yeah, when it started, I was like, wow, okay, this is very, very cool. And I skipped all the others and I went straight to Dio because that was the one that was like, okay, how the hell are they going to do this? Because we're talking about the god of metal here, you know? And when it came on, I was like, yes, you fucking did it. You did it fucking justice, you know? It's beautiful. And then I went to the acoustic rendition of Break the Silence and then High Tops, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, it's like just a complete contrast. Was it that? Why do that?
So just to go back on the Holy Diver, I must just tell you, this is going to sound so bloody arrogant, but I think that our version might even be better than the original.
Whoa! Fucking hell. Step back, son. Whoa.
Yeah, you know how I say that?
Wow.
We we sped it up. And I always thought that the original could have been a few more BPM faster.
Yo, jeez. Yo, that is a fucking bold statement.
No, it's a big one. No, you know what? We're very proud of it. I mean, we play that tune gig in, gig out, you know, and when it came out so well, we were so proud because, you know, like you know, I mean, you know, you do Dio, you obviously want to do it justice. I mean, he's the god of heavy metal, you know.
Absolutely.
He's fronted Dio, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, three of the greatest hard rock heavy metal bands of our time, you know. So there's always added pressure. That's why we tried to do that one note for note. Yeah. Whereas the Ghost and the Billy Idol, we gave it more of our flair. We sped it up. We made it more glam. But with that one, like for me, it was more of a respect thing, you know.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I'll never be able to sing like Dio, but listen, it sounds so good. When we got the back, I was so happy. I like it. I immediately sent it to a mate of mine in Ireland, Clifford Crab.
Aggro, yeah.
I was like, Cliff, you got to hear this, man. We are so close to Dio right now. But you know, so we decided to do those other two versions, and it's just plain and simple, you know. I mean, you see what goes on Facebook every day, you know, metal elitists, whether it's black metalheads, old school metalheads, thrashers, cork, you know, scene kids. Nobody wants to listen to everything, and there's such a perception about us old school metal guys, you know. Look, nobody loves old school metal more than me. From Testament to Anthrax to Dio, Maiden, Priest.
You're speaking my fucking language now, man. I tell you.
I mean, Manowar, Hammerfall, Halloween, those are like thrash, glam power, all that stuff. But I wanted to show the world that we're not that band, you know, that we are willing and we are prepared to mix it up a bit, even though we call ourselves, what do we call, what genre?
New wave of South African heavy metal.
Here we go, the new wave of South African heavy metal, that we are dynamic enough and that we back ourselves enough to write something or to do something like Break the Silence. I mean, that song came out so, I don't even know what's the word. It's like a real radio friendly
commercial.
God, it made Jade sound heavy. You know, and I think we chose the right song because that song was written against child abuse, you know, and I think we've done that song some justice. Look, it was hard to do that, let me tell you.
No, I bet, man, because again, it's another nod and another, you know, tip of the cap to your vocal abilities. And like I said right in the beginning, you've come such a long way because, like I said, I've heard right from the beginning when it all started, and as dude, it's impressive, man. It really is. I remember when Devo sent me Cathedral Point. It's like, you know, can you give it a review? And I was like, yeah, okay, you know, something I want to get into. And then I heard it, and I was like. And I remember one of the first things I wrote down, one of the notes I wrote down is, what the fuck has Jessy Switchblade been drinking? What nectar from the gods has he been given? So, dude, yeah. It's I can just see the progressions, a nice progression, man. Really, really.
I'm glad. You know, at least you know I'm on the right direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But what we want to know is, what we want to know is, what can we expect from after Abigail's Crypt when the full album.
Yeah, so we're gonna go heavier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So now, look, obviously the last song. I mean, sorry, I just didn't discuss the high tops. That's like it's a dance song. It's an '80s synthwave, dark wave. It's like a goth mixed synthwave thing. Which then I thought that was going to be the wild card. We are releasing a lyric video for that, and then I think that's how we leave it. You know, then the next album, its working title is sure. It's either going to be called Vitriol Inc., Vitriol Technologies, or Vitriol Industries. Okay, That's the third installment of the saga. Lady Blitzkrieg realizes that she doesn't have enough firepower to take Deadline out, so she enlists the help of our guitarist, ironically Judgmental, who's the acting mayor of the town. So, and he's the owner of Vitriol Technology. So, what I can tell you is we've got two songs that are finished. The one song is Mursa Heavy. It's quite thrashy, with like a very The ending is very thick. It's very big. It's very sort of like, what's what I'm looking for? Sludge rock, doom metal kind of. Yeah. And the second song is Murfast, very thrashy, crazy solo, with a very interesting chorus, sort of like a tribute to Rage Against the Machine, maybe.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. You spiked my interest.
And with the greatest of respect to Baz, Damien is fantastic on the bass, and we can actually do some things now that we weren't able to do before. So we're going to try push it, you know.
Nice.
And Damon's also a very good guitarist, so he helps the guitarist. We've got 4 or 5 half-written songs, so the plan is to have everything done by the time, let's call it most probably by October, so we can still record this year for a release next year. But the stuff's going to be, if you think about Cathedral Point, think Hope and Pray, think Dark Divination.
Oh,
think,
yes.
Yeah, so that type of stuff.
That's my song right there, Dark Divination. That is my one. That's one I play on Super Radio all the time, man.
Nice.
That and Shapeshifter, love it.
That's my favorite Deadline song, and it used to be my least favorite Deadline song. It used to be a song called Be Ready, and the one day I lost my temper after a gig, and I was like, we're never playing that again until we change it. It's the shittest song we've ever written. And you're like, old Raven just looked at me, and he's like, you were so hurt because he wrote the song. I'm like, what were we even thinking playing this live? And he just like, met the Montfall Thunder. He was like, what the hell? And then we went and we operated on it, and I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite songs.
Yeah, I remember when I heard that album, I was okay. Which I got to select a couple of tracks that are, and Shapeshifter was one of them, and Dark Divination was the very first one. I said, okay, that is it. That's the one. That is it. Who wrote Abigail's Crypt?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I know we've got a couple of covers in there, and then we've got the Break the Silence of High Tops and Bullet Belts. But who? Yeah. Okay, it's a bit of a stupid question, so we'll just fucking ignore that one there because I'm just being a dick. I was just going to say, I mean, I was just going to ask about why I do it and all that sort of shit, but you've already answered that. So let's just go on to the next one. The Sammers, okay, you guys have like swept everybody else aside with the Sammers. What's it, 2017, 2018, 2019? Are you going to do it again this for 2020?
Thanks for reminding me. I need to upload all our stuff on there. I keep forgetting. Yeah, I mean, look, not much happened last year, but I mean, we released an album. Hopefully, we will be up for contention for album of the year, single of the year with Before I Die. I mean, look, as long as we're winning one every year, I'm happy. I know there's a lot of contention regarding the Summers, but the thing is, the reality is, there's people out there that care enough to throw this, and I respect that. There's people that like Sashkita and her crew. They do this every year, and they spend. She spends a lot of her own money, and a lot of people recognize it. And I mean, I know like a lot of people say they don't want to win it or whatever, but if your peers are acknowledging you, that's what it's about. Then you're doing all the right things. The irony though now is that we're the only old school South African metal band, and we keep winning the old school award. I know they mix punk and thrash, but now we've won it 3 years in a row. So I actually rather cheekily asked Sashkita if next year they can just call it the Deadline Floating Trophy. I'm like, to be fair, we're the only old school metal band, but I'm very proud of those things. I mean, it means when you're not winning them, it means fuck all. When you're winning them, it means a lot. It's kind of like the League Cup in football,
Yeah.
And for what we started out as to be where we are, we didn't even think we were going to record a song, let alone release albums, play all over the country, print shirts, have following worldwide, so it means a lot to us. So hopefully we can, keep bringing. Every year we bring one.
Yeah, because I noticed, and I'm probably going to get into trouble for this, but I'm on the panel this year for the Summer, and I haven't seen any Deadline stuff being submitted yet. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Oh, Sashkita actually sent me the stuff a while back, and she's like, just test it to see if it's working. And I started a new role at my company, like a new job, like it's a whole new career. And I've been so bloody sidetracked, and I run with most of the band things. So yeah, I need to actually find some time.
You guys was going to say, you have to somehow find some fucking time, man.
Yeah.
That's between drinking water and going to gym and running and jumping around on stage and Jesus, man.
And I got a new girlfriend with 3 kids.
Oh, yes, congratulations. Woohoo. When does the wedding bells start, man?
Calm down. We're only 8 or 9 days into this.
The girls out there in New Wassam want to know when you're going to tie the knot, bro. Just kidding, man. So let's talk about one of your other loves, and that's WWE.
Wow.
That's a rabbit hole list, man.
I mean, you say that, and my TV is actually showing a Yokozuna documentary. So this is how important WWE is in my life.
Oh, it's classic. So why WWE, man?
Here I've got Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon.
The Taker.
Oh, the Taker. Yes, sir.
And the guy, you'll know, the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, of course, man. Randy Savage is classic.
No, you know what? Like when I was a kid, I enjoyed it. Going into varsity during the Attitude Era, you know, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker. It was like such a cool product. And then you get older, and people tell you it's Zeph, and you know, and you forget about it. And then, I think it was in 2018, man. A mate of mine gave me a free ticket to go watch them when they came down. Raw came down,
right.
and
Yeah.
I went to go check him out, and then I just got enamored by the whole business. Not so much, you know, like everyone's, you know, you tell everyone you love WWE, and they're like, yo, but you know it's fake. I'm like, listen, but I know it's fake. You know, I work for Investec Private Bank. I've got a law degree. I'm not stupid. You know, I know it's fucking fake. You know, it's not fake. It's scripted.
Yeah, scripted. Yeah.
But
shit does go wrong though.
Like, I'm big into fitness, and it amazes me what these guys can do. It's, you know, they train week in, week out. They don't have a season. They wrestle all year long. So it's not like football where you're 9 months playing, 3 months off, and when you're playing, you're still throwing yourself on the floor all the time.
Yeah.
And these people are so talented at what they do, and they do that to entertain. And, you know, I started watching a lot of documentaries of a lot of these people and how much they've suffered with their pains. And, you know, like it becomes, you know, it's quite a dark world. You know, they get addicted to painkillers.
Yeah.
And from painkillers, they get addicted to alcohol. You know, and it reminds me a lot of heavy metal, like the passion. I mean, these people will do anything to entertain. You know, in the 80s, the Ozzy Osbournes, the Motley Crues, the Twisted Sisters, you know, the Guns N' Roses, the shit that you read about, and you know, so I was just able to. I find it to be very metal, you know, in like old school sense.
Yeah.
So I've got copious amounts of respect for those people. So when I see it, I don't look at it like, oh, it's fake. You know, I look at it like, wow, that guy just took a massive fucking fall on a ladder with his back. If that's any one of us, we sing a Cairo for the rest of the year.
For the rest of your life, never mind the year.
No, you got to. I mean, if you see the training, I started seeing the training regimes that these guys did just to, you know, to learn how to take bumps and to. It's incredible the stuff they do. Like, so I've just got. It's like a respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
A respect thing.
Yeah, no, look, I was very lucky enough when I was in Wales, in North Wales, WWF as it was known back then, came round, and I went to go see, and I saw the Undertaker, and that was and immediately after that I just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go buy every single fucking DVD, VHS, whatever the hell I can find, and then like you know, life kind of took over. And then I slowly got back into it again because I got unenamored with it. It was just like, you know, kind of just got boring, all these new faces. I didn't really invest in it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I remember I saw some documentaries, funny enough, about the Undertaker and Bret Hart and all these, these old timers, and like you say, exactly what they were going through, and it was like fucking massive respect. Massive respect.
It is. And you know, I suppose it's like a thing, you know, you get older and people like start judging you for watching wrestling. And you know, I grew up in Pretoria West, so they're like, you know, that's such a Pretoria West thing to do, to like wrestling. Like, oh man. But I mean, most metalheads are seen as Zeph anyway, so it's like, and then you know, the product at the moment doesn't like fascinate me that much. I'm not like, I don't think it's half as good as what it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they're not making wrestlers like that. The storylines aren't that lacquer because obviously a lot of stuff is PC now, you know. It's not like Stone Cold Steve Austin against someone's house and beat up the wife to get to the husband like he did like with Brian Pillman back in the 90s. But it's just, I suppose, like watching that Undertaker documentary, you know, just watching him put his body through so much so that he could keep doing this. Like sometimes, I mean, I'm 42 now. Sometimes I finish a show and like we discussed, like we're quite wild on stage where my lower back is sore, my knees are sore, I'm bleeding. And, you know, like, and I'm like, shit, but I'll do it all over again, you know, because you get so addicted to that rush. So I suppose as a sportsman or an ex-sportsman and an entertainer, it just appeals to me. I understand, you know, and I can see why these folks do it until they can barely walk.
Yeah. So let's get back to the music side of things. I do believe, I spoke to Devo today, that there is, like, and you said earlier as well, there's going to be a video accompanying, which one is it?
So it's for the high tops and bullet belts.
High tops, the
It's,
synth version.
lyric
Right.
video.
So
Yeah, so
that's going to be, you guys are doing a listening party this Thursday.
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? I thought it was Thursday.
It's Wednesday. Wednesday the
Are you sure?
21st. Yeah. It was supposed to be
Wednesday,
Thursday,
21st.
but then they moved it to Wednesday.
Okay. Maybe I just got my dates fucking wrong then. Okay, cool. And then release day is on this Friday. In other words,
Friday, yeah.
in the world of future plans, right now, people who are, where's the camera? There you are. Right now, people who are watching this podcast, you can go onto your digital platforms and stream the shit out of the EP. Buy the EP, buy the merch, get onto Deadline Q9, I think it is, .co.za or .com or something like that. Go to the socials, Deadline Q9. Yeah, Deadline Q9. That's what you're looking for to get onto the socials. That's where you can find all the stuff on Deadline and all the links to everything. One of the things that I was speaking to Raven Chaos, which seems like absolute years ago, it was only last year. I said to him, it almost seems like a concept. The first album, and he said, well, funnily enough, it kind of is, because there's 3 parts, as we now know. And I said to him, it could almost be like a comic book. And he said, well, Jesse's, kind of got something like that sort of planned up. What's going on with that?
So, you know what, if I could just find an illustrator to illustrate for free and go in with me 50-50, we would make millions. But no,
speak to David Owens, bro. He's a graphic designer and drawings and shit like that.
But there is a plan. I might like, at the moment I'm a little bit busy, but I might actually write like a series of mini novels, or actually release a novel. I just need to find time, man. I've got like 0 time at the moment. But the story basically is very loosely based on a band called Cocaine Zombie Sex Hex. And they're a 7-piece industrial goth metal band that plays, the house band in a club called Club El Diablo, in a city, a sort of dilapidated industrial goth looking city called San Lombardo. So think Gotham City, think The Crow, that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And
they start becoming quite big in the underworld. And they then take on the acting mayor of the town, who happens to be this guy that runs Vitriol Industries called Judgmental.
Right.
So, and you'll see like the guys in the band are a guy called the Replicator. That's one of my other nicknames. So that was actually me. Jessy Switchblade is his younger brother, by the way. So there's some crazy bipolar happening there. And Raven Chaos is in the story. So a lot of those concepts, a lot of the Deadline concepts we've just taken. And so in short, the girl that normally appears on all our shirts and album covers, and it's also the girl that's kind of channeling Abigail's ghost, is called Lady Blitzkrieg. And she gets kicked out of the band and excommunicated from San Lombardo. And then she comes back with her 2 wolves, thus Black Wolf City, to extract revenge on Deadline. So the whole Deadline theme is there's this chick with a machete that's coming to kill us. So she's kind of like our Eddie.
Well, I mean, not rad, but rad. Still cool.
She's way hotter.
Just get the holy water ready. There you go. Fucking hell, man. What is the okay, cool. So that's at some point down the line, something like that's going to happen. So
I want to go.
somewhere when you find time to do it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I've written a lot, and I've made the city. I've based it loosely on the old Pretoria CBD. Club El Diablo is exactly where Zeppelins used to be. It's got a similar setup, so I've just used that and I've expanded it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting stuck in. I need to start like giving it like an hour a week, or I don't know, like. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy at the moment. They need to start paying me to be in Deadline. That.
I was just going to ask just one thing before we finish off: is what is the funniest thing that has happened on stage to you, or around you at a gig or whatever?
I don't know, man. I've had so many accidents on stage. But I don't particularly find them funny. I've had, I did make a hole in the room ceiling with my microphone stand, and the microphone stand got stuck. Because I often flip my microphone stand around, and it's got the roof has got that, it's that,
polystyrene, whatever, the
Yeah,
foam.
like,
Yeah.
it's like the prefab, or I smashed this thing, and then when I looked again, it was like stuck in the roof. I was like, oh man. Then I couldn't get it out because I was trying to sing, and I can't do two things at once. So it was quite funny. But I mean, like, yes, I sing. So we do break the silence. I always sing with a chain. So I've almost knocked people out. You know, Baz has given me a blue eye with his bass. He's ripped my jeans with his bass. He's got to be a BC Rich warlock. Like, I once played a gig, seconds into the gig, he ripped my whole jeans off with his bass. And I was just bleeding. Like, right off the bat, there was blood all over my jeans. And I was like, oh, so early.
At the end, maybe also, but not at the first song.
No, listen, like, because it pierced right through my muscle in my leg, and it was actually quite sore. But you know, I've had you know, glass in my knee, and yeah, nothing's generally funny. Although we've had a few bras thrown at us, but then we realized that
there's nothing funny about that. That I won't laugh at. That I'll be deadly serious about. Yeah, Deadline request more bras to be thrown at them, please, ladies, when you next go to a Deadline gig.
No, of course. And phone numbers all the time.
Not you, naughty boy, not you. You're in a relationship for the last 8 days.
That's true. So for 8 days, no numbers. Sorry, guys. You know, our show's always a hell of a lot of fun. You know, I always say there's aggression and there's energy, but the thing is, it's always fun. You know, like we're very big on crowding to action. You know, and you know, if you're going to come to Deadline show, you're going to have to play along with us. Fist in the air, hey, you know, sing along with us like Iron Maiden, like, you know, like when they do Fear of the Dark, that type of stuff. And it's always a big party, man.
What is it? The difference, the biggest difference between audiences here in South Africa and audiences abroad. What is it?
Yo, I'm gonna probably say something ugly.
Well, I mean, you don't have to, because I've seen both, and I just find that European audiences are more up for it, whereas South African audiences aren't really. They're just more sort of checking out, see what's going on, kind of thing.
I find European audiences are more educated. They know the bands. They know everything about the band. And for example, I'm going to use an example that Don Cobra from LA Cobra told me. Him and his fiance. So when LA Cobra play in Pretoria, Joburg, Cape Town, whatever, girls don't care about the music. They just go to talk to him, to hit on him. In Europe, when they did those shows in Europe, there were like girls that knew every single LA Cobra song. They had every album. Like, they really, in Europe, the people are fans. Over here, unfortunately, our scene is very small. So if there's a couple of girls watching your show, very seldom are they into the band. They are into one or two of the guys in the band. Dudes, because we've got this weird mentality going that black metal dudes must listen to black metal, metalcore kids must listen to metalcore, old school metalheads, you know, God, you know, we are the bastions of civilization, and we will only listen to Manowar. That nobody gives a shit about other bands, so no one supports, nobody cares to educate, nobody wants to actually just go and have a whole lot of fun, you know. And I find like guys will mosh just for the sake of moshing, you know, just to like moshing because they want to show how hardcore they are. And yeah, somewhere along the line we lost it a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of social media. Like, I get so sad. I see so many good friends fighting each other because of Tool versus Slayer and Azalea Dying versus Men. And I'm like, why are we fighting, guys? If you guys can all just club together with that positive / negative attitude and just fight the world, like Manowar said, we'll be so much better, you know. I feel like you'll see, like, bands will play, mates will watch. Like, we've got people that will just come and watch us. They won't support the other bands. I mean, I'm very thankful that they're watching us. Yeah. But on the other end of the spectrum, the other day we played a show. Everyone watched the first band because they were all like into metalcore and stuff. And then when we came on, everyone just walked off. We played in a really nice venue. But
it surprises me, man. It surprises me so much because we are starved of really good talent. Not of talent, but of gigs, of shows, of this kind of this genre. I would have thought if you're going to pay $100 to a show, $150 for a show, you'll stay for the whole fucking thing, not just for one band.
Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, I sometimes question the validity of like our metalheads. Like, are they really metalheads? Like, I don't know. It's
such a small scene as it is. I mean, we are up against it, man.
Another example is, I mean, and this is such a sore point in Deadline's life. We got asked to open for Judas Priest, and then the show was cancelled because of lack of ticket sales. You know, I mean, in what world? You know, in Europe, you'd never see that. In Europe, you'd never see Judas Priest show being cancelled for lack of ticket sales. There's just metal just seems to be a thing from yesterday. You know, like there's a small sort of loyal, dedicated base of like metalcore fans and deathcore fans. But there's not much more other than that. You know,
I just, you know what gets me, man, is all these. Like you were saying, like metalcore will stick with metalcore, deathcore will go deathcore, grindcore will go there. It's like, for fuck's sakes, aren't we all just metal? You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
we
just
get along, man.
Elitist. Yeah, we're always going on about elitists, but each genre's got its own elitist, you know? I mean, and that's what we wanted to do. You know, we came with the leather pants, the high tops, the battle jackets, but we wanted to tell everyone it's okay to watch us. It's okay to hang with us. Although we're all wimps and posers, leave the whole Manowarish, Iron Man, whatever, but the reality is we're not. We'll watch your band, and we support all the bands. We'll watch your band. We want you to watch our band. You know, we want to share fans. You know, we're so easygoing about it because at the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same cause, man.
Yeah.
You know,
that's it. Stick it to the pop and to the whatever else.
Yeah,
to the hip hop and
like,
all that.
Yeah, exactly. And I always see metalheads on Facebook fighting, standing up for pop stars and standing up for rappers, but yet we fight each other consistently, you know. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
I think a lot of people that aren't on the periphery that would want to come to shows see this, and then they're like, oh, well, there we go. There's the metal. Yeah, I don't want to be part of this. But the reality is, the scene is the bands, man. You got to come support the band. That's what brings the people to the shows. Now you got all these people on the periphery fighting each other. The others on the other side, also on the periphery, watching this go down, and they're like, I'm out. I don't want to be part of I don't want these issues. It's not supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be about wearing your leathers. Well, these days you don't wear leathers, but okay, wearing your leathers and your spikes, drinking some beers with your mates and celebrating life. You know, metal was one of the only true rebellions of the 70s and 80s, you know?
Yeah.
And we've lost touch with that, I'm afraid. But
I think Deadline are in there and bringing it back, man. That's a good fucking thing.
We're trying. We try to play with everyone, any genre. We watch all the shows. We're very welcoming of every band. We'll happily play under any metalcore band. We don't have a problem. If they got a bigger fan base, we'll open for them. We just want to play, man. Yeah. You know. But I suppose we're bullies now. So every time we're on stage, we're like, yes.
The granddads are here. You should walk on stage with Zimmer frames, man, and just like,
I'll break those things with my teeth. No, you know, we just, for us, it's we just want to have fun. We've tried our best we try to do our best to unite the scene where we can.
Absolutely.
The reality is everybody has to pull their weight, you know. Like I said, and that's the thing in Europe, man. People are, I've got a lot of mates in bands in Hungary and Belgium and Germany, and they all talk about the same thing I talk about, you know, that the scene is divided and new school versus old school. But when I go to festivals, and I've been doing it I've been going to festivals since 2007. I've watched so many bands at clubs, festivals, etc. And I don't see that at all. I just see people getting behind heavy metal like it's
like they
universal
should.
Language.
Yeah,
everyone's just, there's no like bullshit. I listen to these underground Norwegian black metal bands. Fuck you for listening to Iron Maiden. It's like, oh, bro.
Yeah.
I listen to underground bands too.
Don't forget. There's a lesson here, people. Don't forget that Iron Maiden were once an underground band too.
Remember
everybody starts somewhere.
You refuse to play with punk rock bands.
Yeah. Steve Harris detests anything. As soon as you say punk to him, that's it.
No, he gets like goes fucking bonkers. He just likes Maiden and West Ham.
Yeah, there you go. Shame.
I mean, hopefully, when you reopen, people can just, I don't know, just get hungry again. Or maybe the level of bands, I don't know. Maybe we're also convinced we're so good. Maybe the level of band isn't good enough. I don't know.
No, I don't think it's that. I just think maybe there's, like you say, a lack of education. Of understanding where this music comes from, and each generation needs to supply the next generation the info, and I think that's been lost.
In 10 years' time, we like the Beatles, and the metalcore bands are like
the only difference there, Carlos, is you want their bank balance with it.
No, I do. Why do you think I have a day job? My goodness.
I don't have a fucking job, man. It's not a job, it's a hobby. Fuck it. But anyway, That's a hobby.
Better than a round of golf.
Yeah. Golf. Don't get me started. Fucking hell.
Yeah, no, listen. We could do a whole podcast on that.
Anyway, mate, it's been awesome to chat to you, and I must just do this because I need to get this into my brain. Devo, sir, thank you very much for the hookup to chat to Carlos. Carlos, oh man, thank you so much, man. It's been awesome to chat to you, and Abigail's Crypt is the shit.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool, man. Keep well, keep safe, man. Rock on, dude.
Have a good one, man. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Cheers.